What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Today we will be presenting top 10 romance anime, but before the video starts I want to add a couple side notes. First one being is all these animes are put in no order. The number on the top will just be used as a reference point. Furthermore, all the AMV background visuals will be linked in the description for proper credit, and the channel will be presented on screen. Alright, for our first title we got Darling in the Franxx. I recently got to watch this anime after being stranded in 2D world for a while, but for it being my first one back I have no regrets. I'm mostly a romance anime guy, but I've never watched this one just cause it was mecha. I have nothing against mecha, it's just not an alpha type of thing, but basically in quick summary this takes place in a dystopian post-apocalypse future where the remnants of human civilization have abandoned the surface, artificially created children turned parasites are deprived of individuality and educated only for piloting the Franxx in pairs to defend humanity. So I will praise this anime just cause it kept me sucked in the whole time. I will not go into specific detail about everything, but the animation is stellar and the plot is what you could expect from an anime like this. In conclusion, I do highly suggest this one, so when you get the time, please watch it. I guarantee you won't be disappointed, and if you are, well, you're just the highest of weebs. I should just start calling you senpai actually. Now this anime I watched back when I was just a seedling of a weeb, but I still enjoyed it, and the fact that I even thought back to an anime that far must mean that the anime deserves to be on the list. This spectacle is about a young girl who, following an argument with her father, she falls from a cliff by accident and dies. However, as a result of the potion, she becomes a zombie who eats leaves to survive. Basically, the story follows the life of a guy and his new zombie girlfriend. The plot is nothing impressive, but still something enjoyable. As for the art, I'm not too impressed. Well, let's just say that when I first saw Studio Dean was doing it, I was kinda dead like a zombie. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai is one that is light but touches the heartstrings. It's nothing crazy, but it respects the heart by not hitting us with ecchi every 2 seconds. So the story revolves around Sakura's life taking a turn for the unexpected when he meets a teenage actress maid dressed as a bunny girl, wandering through a library and not being noticed by anyone else there. Mai is intrigued that Sakura is the only one who can see her, as other people are unable to see her, even when she is dressing normally or attempting to stay away from celebrity life, calling this phenomenon adolescence syndrome. Sakura decides to solve this mystery while continuing to get closer to Mai and meeting other girls who suffer from adolescence syndrome as well. Now, as for small detail for this anime, art is clean. As for the plot, honestly it's good considering we've all seen worse, but my personal opinion being that they could have done better on it and they could have really made this something that popped, but instead we got a generic storyline. But that being said, I still would suggest this. I'd probably even watch it one more time, so go ahead and give it a go if you have any spare time at hand. 3D Kanojo is also a part of one of my recent viewings. I can say I really enjoyed this show just because I felt as if the female protagonist was viewed in a different way and not in a great way. This is not going into detail to avoid spoilers. Now the show is about the life of a high school student that, while kind-hearted and decent, is shunned by his fellow classmates for being an otaku, and his encounters with a beautiful and ill-reputed high school girl, and the surprising romantic relationship that they both embark on thanks to a daring question. Now, as for the animation, I think it was just there because it also wasn't a low standard of animation. Now, don't get me wrong, of course with different studios you have seen better, but this is also not low grade as I said. Now for the plot, it's just your generic love story with a twist being that you can actually see some development at a decent pace, but the ending also may have you pulling out half of your hairs, probably going for a mohawk look at that point, but let me tell you, it definitely was a ride. Now Yamada and the Seven Witches is quite the spectacle with high ratings all around town, most reviews being mostly high. My personal opinion of this show is also high. It aired a few seasons back, if not a while ago, but still packs a punch when you watch it. The story goes something like this. Yamada is known as a delinquent in his high school. He has been bored of classes after 1 year of attending school. One day he accidentally falls from a flight of stairs onto Urara, the ace student of his school. Yamada wakes up to find that he has swap bodies with her, the two try to reverse the change and discover that kissing triggers the body swap. And on the suggestion of student council vice president, they revived the supernatural study club. Now the art is absolutely fantastic. I felt as it carried a certain mood with it, and the plot is not your average plot, so it was refreshing, but the music especially. The opening is fantastic and I feel like I can listen to it time and time again. Koituoso. This one's going to put you to the ringer, but don't worry, you'll be just fine. So basically, the story takes place in a futuristic society. Japan has implemented a complex system referred to as the Red Threads of Science to encourage successful marriages and combat increasingly low birth rates. This being based on compatibility calculations, young people at the age of 16 are assigned marriage partners by the government, with severe repercussions awaiting those who disobey the arrangement. Now, as for the art in this series, I found myself a bit mixed up with the feelings. I love how they had big cute eyes, I guess you could say. They were great and all, but I found that the setting sometimes was lacking with the art. But as for the plot, it was off to a good start with the first 2 episodes, and it all went to hell after that. But that's not the first one, of course. Well, boys and girls, we finally made it to High School DxD. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. For the people who have watched this, go easy on me in the comments. And for the people who haven't, this is going to be the biggest fan service you've ever seen. But it's a fan service with a plot, so let's not argue about it, alright? I do suggest this for my older audience, 18 plus. It's nothing crazy. It really doesn't go into hentai, but it is borderline there, alright? So if you had the time, if you're 18 and older, go ahead and watch it. I do suggest it. Nisekoi is the definition of your typical drama of teens in high school. The premise of an MC looking for a girl of his past to open his locket has potential for a lot of complexity and twists. Like seriously, the plot is your typical rom-com that had a lot of potential but never got there. But I believe that's not directly the anime's fault, but rather the representation of the manga. Now, I definitely don't feel as if the art was lacking, and when there was an area that the series did lack at, it was made up by some good character development where most studios would simply put that aside. Domestic Girlfriend is also an anime that some of the audience may steer away from, but nothing crazy happens in the show. It displays with the stepsister concept really hard. So the anime goes like this. It tells the story of the conflicted feelings of Natsu towards his first love and the girl he lost his virginity to. But you see, the problem is these two girls out of nowhere become his stepsisters. Yep, you can only imagine how anime has fucked us again like this. As for the art, it was actually top notch considering what came out with this anime during the season. And for our final anime, we have Blue Spring Ride. It's nice to see a series like Blue Spring Ride surface every now and again. Something that takes a well-known storyline type and adds some unique elements to differ the experience a bit. Nothing revolutionary or mind-blowing, and that doesn't mean it needs to be. The story is as basic as it gets. Basically goes off of 2 past lovers in mutual spirit reuniting later in their lives. You heard it here, as original as it gets. But don't get me wrong, it has its good sides. It's the underlying layers and nuisances woven throughout the narrative that strengthen and elevate it. As for the art Production IG has done it yet again, another good job being known for animating action and effect-heavy anime. Now, I just want to thank everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this one better than I did the last one, because the last one was a big shit show. Anyways, make sure you subscribe and leave a like, and if you disliked it, go ahead and dislike it if you want. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.